See you dance. Chemical catalyst rattling, never hazardous. Subdued by all my memories, but never been a pacifist. So quick to put up the fist. It's hard to resist, but I just might lose control. So shoot, and I never do miss. I gotta take risk if I wanna have it all. So let go of the poison, the venom. I'm sending. The voices are spinning with the visions already. Got the pictures of my prophecy. Develop my philosophy. Woke up in the morning, told the world to get back off of me. Yeah, and still the nightmares creeping up at night. I'm a fragment in the mirror, seeing black and white. Like who is me and who is gonna take me over? My soul is my soul in the eyes of the beholder. Yeah, and now there's darkness in the chaos. Try to see the light, hope the positives will pay off. Ain't no time for stressing when the time is of this essence. Take these two fists and swing them back into your direction. Woo! Cause that's the way I got it. And don't it sound a doom, always sounds so melodic. Looking to the future, know the end is coming near. Even though I'm standing tall in the face of all this fear. Clear vision, serving life like a sentence. Gotta stay strong, that's the reason I'm so vicious. A barking dog, take it all, never fall. You ringing for the champ, then I'm the one who get the call. So let me tell you a little something about this life. You can commit to the game and you can commit to fight. But the thing is that with every passing of the night, nobody actually makes it out of this world alive. So what you gotta do is put your powers to the test. Time is passing, so you better swing your time the best. So who you gonna be when the reaper come knocking? Actions speak louder than words, so stop talking. Yeah, so watch me break out of this cage. I fight now, I won't change. Yeah, and it's the passing of the days. So get back and just get up out my way. Yeah, so watch me break out of this cage. I fight now, I won't change. Yeah, and it's the passing of the days. So get back and just get up out my way. Woo!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. First off, I'm gonna say Happy Father's Day. It is June 10th, Juneteenth, 6/19/2022. Welcome everybody back again for another one, another episode number 8, and I have a feeling that it is definitely going to be great. What's good, everybody? Good evening, and welcome to the Georgia Street Fighter 5 Scene Community Podcast Discussion Group. I am your moderator for this event, ShadowAce, and I want to first always, of course, thank the legendary SirRetro for agreeing to host this discussion on his platform, giving us an opportunity to just hear the voices of the community, hear the voices and feedback on how they feel about Street Fighter 5 and FGC meta in general. Just get a good understanding of what goes on through the player mindset. So once again, big shout outs to SirRetro. The reason I've assembled, our special guest here for this evening is to get their views and opinions on the Street Fighter 5 Georgia scene and just Street Fighter 5 in general. And we'll even take a look at Street Fighter 6. And this game, Street Fighter 5, has been out for about 6 years and by now, and that's quite a long time before the next installment drops. So everybody might have their own different views and opinions toward the game and the community in general. And this is just an opportunity to express, themselves in a constructive manner. But let's start off by introducing our panel for this evening. I'll go first. This is ShadowAce. I am a player, commentator, podcaster, TO, a man of many titles, man, but just a laid back dude, who just likes to, play some games, man, and run some sets, and help grow the community to get to, just to help it grow and prosper. Because our scene in the state of Georgia, we have a lot of talented players, not just in Street Fighter 5, but in other fighting games in general. And this is an extreme, this is one of the avenues that we can use to try to motivate them to continue to play and not sit on those particular type of skills. So Once again, yeah, this is ShadowAce. Yeah, we doing this for about 8 episodes now, so we're kind of veterans at this. Speaking of veteran, got the the man behind the production, the ones and twos. Good sir Retro, how you doing today?
What up, everyone? How's it going? I'm doing well, ShadowAce, and once again, thank you for allowing me to be taking part of this awesome experience, awesome podcast series. Of course, for those who do not know, well, I am SirRetro, the Middle Georgia tournament organizer, um, competitor, trainer, producer. Like ShadowAce, I have many hats as well. Been active in the community, at least more at least for the TO role for at least 5 years or so, and looking forward to many more, and definitely like to help for others who don't know. I do help train players, kind of give them like the beginner to almost intermediate experience sessions, and basically try to hold it down here in the middle of Georgia area, and of course go out to support other scenes around the whole state. So definitely, that's pretty much me, my end, and yeah. So like I said, thank you, Shadows, once again for letting me be on the team, and I'm definitely enjoying the ride for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. We're out here to give you guys what you need. And once again, thank you everybody. Thank you guys so much. The viewers at home continue to support. And we've actually had people come to us, you know, outside of just the state, like, yo, can you interview our scenes? Don't worry, we're almost there. I promise you. I said that the episode 10 was going to be the season finale, and then we're going to look into talking to other scenes to see how things work out there. But for right now, I wanted to give our state scene, the Georgia state scene for Street Fighter Five, an opportunity to just talk and put their voices out there for the world to hear. But once again, thank you all for joining us for the 8th episode of the series. And Sir Retro, last time we had Terrence and Mr. Annual, aka Coach, for episode 7, give their take on the Street Fighter 5 community and the FGC meta in general.
Hmm.
So if you guys missed out on that broadcast, please go back and check that episode. It is live on Reboot Retrocade Gaming YouTube channel. So with that further ado, let's introduce our guest for this evening. I think it's a bit different this time around because I know normally we have two guests. Unfortunately, one of the guests was they had to move, so they weren't able to join us on this podcast. So hopefully we can get them in on a future episode for sure. But I think this is a name that some people may not have heard, and may not have heard in quite some time. But they know what time it is when they hear this name, though, man. But Ice Effect, yo, when was the last time you guys heard about some Ice Effect? Ice Effect, good sir, how you doing this evening?
Doing good, doing good. Just I guess I'm just in stasis until Street Fighter 6 essentially, but still around, still enjoying myself, enjoying games. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, man, and thank you so much for agreeing to do this, man. Definitely, we have a lot of information and things to talk about, so this will definitely be a good episode for sure. Last time I seen you was at the Street Fighter Five one more round at the 404 Esports debut event that happened about a few months ago, which had about a good 22, 23 entrants. And that was like kind of the first online Street Fighter event since the pandemic began for the Atlanta area. I know Sir Retro and this making scene. I think those guys had some Street Fighter events going down in their neck of the woods, but for our Atlanta scene, it's been kind of we had to rely on like, either like house sessions or just we got it to deal with CFN. So for that to get that amount of players, that's just lets me know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. So we want to try to me and KB and the 404 Esports owner Greg. We want to try to at least keep that energy going as much as possible for Street Fighter 6. But my question here for you for Ice Effect, what you been up to, man? It's been a while. What's going on?
Nothing much, I guess personally, just getting money essentially. really started to get into my career in IT. Video game wise, I just finished Elden Ring, so that took a minute, but finally like 100% of it. So I'm not going back. That game took up way too much of my time. And now I'm just going back to League of Legends. League of Legends is my go-to, like, dang, I don't have anything else to play. May as well just play this, type of game. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. Just making moves and playing League.
It is, man. You on your grown man grind, and I could definitely appreciate that and respect that for sure, man. But throughout that description, you didn't say anything about some Street Fighter Five. So this is what we're gonna get down to, man. We're gonna get down to the meat and potatoes. You put the sticks down in Street Fighter Five a few years, seasons ago. Now to understand the present, we got to go back to the past, right? What was the moment you decided you didn't want to compete anymore in that game?
Um, Probably COVID. Pretty much 100% COVID. Before then, I was still interested for sure. It's just timing reasons why I couldn't really make it out often. But once COVID hit, at first I was like, okay, well, at least I can play online. But I just realized during that time that I just really uh did not like just simply playing only online. Um, and at that point, it was like, yeah, I can just at this point, I may as well just branch out, try other games. Wait till Street Fighter 6. But the number one reason is 100% COVID. That if it wasn't for COVID, then I still would have went out to offline events. I probably would have lost, and that would have made me salty, and that would have made me play better, or actually play more, so I could show up to the next tournament. Um,
Yeah.
but since COVID happened, there was no possibility of that situation occurring. So essentially, the drive just died off since I had no reason to since there was no reason to go to since I wasn't able to get to a tournament, there was no reason for me to play. Essentially, that's how it went for me.
Okay, that's understandable. I think that that scenario kind of resonated with some of our other players too as well. When before COVID, um, and I think probably I want to say around the time Gwinnett Brawl was nearing the end of its course, the end of its run. I kind of saw the numbers kind of dip off a little bit, and then I felt like COVID kind of just like amplified that. Like especially with players that were so used to just playing offline, going to house sessions and stuff like that, and traveling and whatnot. And now that had got shut down, it was like, well, our only option at this point, since there's mandate now, there were mandates during the first year, and there was a lot of uncertainty going around about um, how people were dealing with COVID, and then people were catching COVID. So all of that factored in with people being like, okay, well, if I play on CFN, this is it. This is all I got. So it's like, nah, I'd rather just either try to play something else or take my interest into something, fly fishing or something, some kind of other interest that the players may have had. So that's completely understandable. And I think now that you're playing Strive, um, and but you haven't competed offline in that. At least I don't think so yet. You just playing that casually.
Yeah, just playing that casually. I was going to, but then honestly, it didn't. I was enjoying it for a bit, but the main game that I really liked after Street Fighter was Grand Blue. I really, really liked Grand Blue, and I was kind of, disappointed that it never got its chance. So since I liked Grand Blue so much, I figured I'd give Strive a chance, and I did enjoy Strive for a bit. Well, I still do, but I definitely didn't enjoy it enough to where I'm gonna like, truly, truly grind it out like I would for, Grand Blue or Street Fighter. I am definitely gonna play DNF Duel when that comes out. Because
Okay.
I was definitely a DFO player back in my days. So just off of that alone, I'm gonna play it. So yeah,
Nice.
hopefully that game turns out well, and we'll see how that goes.
Are you going to be going to offline tournaments for that, or just
Oh
not
yeah, for
yet?
sure. If it's good, definitely, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, and I think for esports is they're doing an event for that. Are you I mean, you're on their website, right? Like when they'll be doing the. Like you see that calendar, and they had the list of events and stuff. And I think they normally do their weeklies on like Wednesdays. So when they do the DNF one, is that the one you're gonna go to?
Um, Probably not the first one because I like to like. I mean, what
Lab.
is it like? Is it on day one? That tournament.
I don't I don't think it's day one, but if you go on there, if you go on the website, I think it has a list of calendar, like a calendar for all their events that they're doing. And I think he normally posts about it, about when they're going to host tournaments for that day or that week,
Okay.
on his Twitter. So yeah, yeah. If you're not able to make the first one, then yeah, see if you can try to go out to make like the second one or something, because
Yeah.
you probably want to like lab and stuff like that.
Exactly. I definitely would rather go after I like have some time to put some hours into it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna show up for it because I like DFO, so I would assume I'm gonna give DNF a shot no matter what, essentially. So
Okay.
definitely
And
looking forward to it.
what character were you looking at in that?
Man, so my character in the games was the Exorcist, not the Exorcist and the Avenger, but neither of them are in the fighting games, so I'm gonna default to their closest comparisons, which is either the Inquisitor or the I don't know what the priest class is called, the Crusader. Yeah. So
Crusader, yeah.
either the Crusader or the Inquisitor, because they're all that same priest class that I used in the game. So we'll see.
Okay, nice, nice, man. You're gonna be taking people to church, man. Can't wait to see it, man.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let's take it back. Let's go back to blast to the past here. We're gonna go back again. I remember back in the early years of Street Fighter Five. It was Ice Effects, top three in Georgia consistently throughout the events. It was like kind of like a rotation between the top three, between you, Terrence, KB, Dre Gangsta, and I think Neon. But you guys are like kind of the fatal five within, always rotating in and at in and out of those rankings for a tournament. So you guys were definitely the highest eyes people were looking at as to try to beat or try to like get close to your level to like be a challenger or a threat. Um, for me myself, since there was no El Fuerte, I went through a character crisis struggle during season one before Ed came out in season two, and these were you guys were the guys that you had to beat to do damage in the scene. um, and it was definitely much more active back then. Constantly, as far as like good numbers during the seasons ones and twos. But as they say, of course, all good things they have to come to an end, man. But like, because I kind of wonder, like, what happened to those particular players, right? Like, what happened? Like, if I go back and look at a Gwinnett Brawl bracket and I see that it had 120 something entrants, and I'm like, damn, man, how did we go from 120 to 10? like what like, like what happened, man? I understand life happens, people move, careers, families, stuff like that. Even some people may have gotten, God forbid, possibly sick, but and that's just a part of life happening. People get older, interests change for sure, and that just comes with the territory. But it just made me think how back then how different it was when the game first came out, because it was brand new. So a lot of people wanted to state their claim in the scene, and it was always you guys were in the forefront, like leading the pack as far as being like the dominant players in the scene. And I'm hoping that could be the case for the six. Maybe we can get a new generation of Street Fighter Six players coming in, and maybe they'll be the ones to be the dominant reigns. But we'll see when we get there, man. But for we had a offline drought in Atlanta for like at least 2 years, and that was more than enough for players to be like, just put the game down for good or just find something else to play. Like I said, and CFN didn't really help either, because even for me, I didn't want to enter as many online tournaments as I used to. Since I'm contracted with this gaming company, Gaming team, I entered their tournaments a lot, but outside of that, I didn't. I mean, right now I'm not entering as many tournaments as I can because CFN is just it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. So, um, how it because you already answered the question earlier, from your end, as far as like just not wanting to just deal with it altogether because of COVID, and you like you were more of an offline player, so because you travel, right? You travel, you went um to Cali for the Redbull Proving Grounds with
Yep.
the three. Yo, tell me how that was.
Oh man, it was great. I felt so bougie. They flew you out, served you good food, or walked you around, had you sit in some like cool looking stage, gave you makeup. It felt especially back then because I was a little younger. Like I just now hit 30, which is crazy for me to think about. But back then I was a little bit younger. So I was like, oh man, this is the life. Like I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was great. Like those type of events. Yeah, traveling is probably one of my favorite things about just tournaments in general, just being able to, find new environments, see new type of people. Um yeah, it was really, really fun. And specifically for the Red Bull, the 3v3 system I thought was very, very entertaining both to watch and play in. And I hope that Street Fighter 6 is successful enough where they would be willing to try that again because I thought that was a very, very entertaining experience.
Yeah, I would hope. Yeah, you know what? And that actually brought out a lot of players too, like in the areas because they had those qualifying events
Right.
for your region or your scene. And if an event was held in your state, you had neighboring states traveling to your area just to try to compete. They had the Red Bull in Atlanta, Georgia, Florida, and the other states and areas too as well. But you had people actually willing to travel to just carpool just to go out to that event and play. And those venues used to always be packed. Like just I was like, yo, like there's no seats. You just got to stand up. You just got to stand up and just wait for your turn for your match or whatever. But those were the good old days. I hope that they can bring that format back. I don't know if Red Bull would be willing to work again. Just based off Street Fighter 6, I mean it's starting off in a good direction. So hopefully Red Bull will, of course they will want to dive in and try to get on the train for that, and maybe they'll bring it back, and maybe we'll see even more players or just people who retired. They may come back because I think a lot of the players that weren't really feeling five, they say like 6 already looks better, so they'll come back and play 6. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Um,
and
yeah.
I sure hope it does. I think one of my things that made it so successful, at least from like a player count perspective, is that it was, especially the early ones, it was a point system. You were incentivized to go to more than just one because if you just go to one, then you may not have enough points to, qualify to actually, be part of the team. So I think that was a very good idea by them. And I hope that when Street Fighter 6 comes, more tournaments try to like have like rewards at the end of like a certain period of time, depending on, how many points that player may have gotten from participating. Because I think that's a really good way of incentivizing people to not just come to tournaments, but to return to tournaments. Um,
hmm
yeah, that's just something I really liked from their tournaments.
Yeah, and then that also gives them, like you said, it gives them a reason to, you know, get those points because if they get, say, they place well in this particular event, and then they hold another one, and they be like, okay, well, since I did good in this tournament, if I keep going back and keep getting these points, I have a higher chance of qualifying and making the team for the finals, and that kind of motivated players to go home and lab, and if they lost to somebody or they lost in a specific situation, they can go home, practice, lab what they lost against, and then that just would make them a whole better player. There was a reason to like really lab the game because you had that offline interaction, and that's just something that can't be duplicated at home. At home you're in your boxers, you comfortable, you lay back. You lose a ranked match or something, you lose a lobby match or something. Okay, well I lost a few points. Oh well, all right, I'm going to the next match. Like there wasn't an atmosphere, right? There wasn't like you had people watching you, a whole bunch of people watching you play, so you had to be on your A game, on your P's and Q's versus all online. You just like, okay, all right, next match, and that was it. So it's definitely two different environments. I'm more of a favor of offline play for sure. I definitely do like the in-person interactions, and I think the emotions and everything that players go through offline can just really elevate your game to large levels. So I was thinking, yeah, because we have a venue that still is available to players to go there and grow. That's a consistently available. I think that hopefully within Street Fighter 6 we'll get new players again coming in, because when we were at when we were at one more round, it was I saw some faces like that I've never seen before play the game, and I've been around a long time, so I'm like, yo, who are these? Who is this Honda player? Who is this jury player? Like, I was wondering like who these guys were, where did they come from, where were they in season 1 and 2 and stuff like that, and that's just that lets me know that they want to play the game. They want to play the game. And we have to try to make sure that these players have a good foundation, a good running start for Street Fighter 6 for sure, man. So um, compared to what the game is now versus back then I felt that if you because Street Fighter 5 the launch, it wasn't the best. It didn't have the best launch for sure. There was a lot of missing information. So if you didn't know what time it was, or you didn't lab or grind as hard as you did to get to where you were as a player, you were kind of like left in the dust, and I think that kind of turned off the casual audience from trying to even try to hang with the monsters in there. But like, how did you get to the level play with your Laura?
Um, let's see. So, despite everything I said about offline, it was 100% true online. Because I was an online warrior in Street Fighter 4. In Street Fighter 4, I didn't go to any tournaments. But and I promise you, people don't believe me, but I was a really, really good able player. Like, people for some reason don't believe me. I got the receipts. At least I got YouTube videos, this of my able play. But anyways, I was a pretty big online warrior in Street Fighter 4, so that just naturally transitioned to Street Fighter 5. With Laura, and just being able to just play at any time just helped me get really, really good with Laura. I got to practice specific matchups whenever I run into that character online. But then I went, unlike in Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5, I went to tournaments. And the biggest thing about tournaments for me is they just make me very salty. I lose, and it's not like losing online. When I lose offline, it's like, dang, okay, I can't believe this. Like, there's no way I should have lost, and it just makes me want to be better. So when I would lose offline, I would go back home and I would just really, really, play. Like, I would just play angrily, trying to figure out, okay, well, how did this happen? How can I resolve this? Yada yada yada. So that when the next tournament comes, I can do better. So I would say it was a combination of just continuing to play online. That helped me a lot, but most specifically playing offline and losing offline is what really made me want to take my lore to another level. So I won't lose again, essentially.
You said you was an able player in Street Fighter 4. Did you go by Ice Effect
Yep.
in Street Fighter?
Yep,
Really?
I only went to one tournament ever and we won. It was me, DB Joseph. It was a team tournament. It was me, DB Joseph, and I cannot remember the third person, but I can hold that title. That the only tournament I ever went to in Street Fighter 4, we won.
And it was a team tournament. Okay. Huh? It was in Georgia?
Yep, it was in Georgia.
Team tournament. 3v3.
3v3. Yep. I think the finals. I think Joel may have been in the finals. because I remember fighting a Ryu. I just know that
What
DB Joseph, for the most part, carried us mostly during that one
was
time.
it? Like, do you remember what the venue looked like?
Oh
Like,
man, that's a good question.
cause let me see.
Dang, I'm having
Was
a
it
hard time remember. It was definitely like in the middle of Atlanta though, for sure. Um, but
was
that's
it
pretty much
ran by
all I can
Larry?
remember.
The final
Uh,
round? No.
I think so. Maybe I couldn't tell you. Let me not say because
Okay.
I can't remember. I just know
Okay.
that it was definitely in the very middle of Atlanta for sure. That's the main thing I remember.
And it was which version of Street Fighter 4 was it? Do you remember? What was it?
This was definitely in the later era. This was like 2000. Let's see, I was like a sophomore in college, so that was 2012, 2011. Um,
That's
I-
probably Ultra then,
yeah, I
maybe.
can't remember which
Okay.
version was it in that time, but it was definitely around that year. Whichever
Okay.
Whichever Street Fighter it was during that year.
Okay. Okay. But that was the one tournament you entered and you got the W and you was like, "Yo, I'm done."
Well, I was in college and I was broke, so I ain't have time or money to, be going out to tournaments like that during that period. So I just played online. But that was that one specific time DB Joseph was like, "Hey, we need a third," because he also went to the same school I went to, Morehouse, and he hit me up. Was like, "Hey, we need a third. I know you play Street Fighter. You want to come?" And I was like, "Oh shoot, okay." I didn't even know there were tournaments at that point. Um.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
So DB Joseph was the one that brought you into the fighting game community then?
Yep. Essentially.
Wow. And were y'all like dorm mates or y'all just in the same class?
Oh
Or
nah,
how
nah.
did y'all meet?
I don't even remember how we met. We met we met through another friend who saw that I played Smash actually. And it was one of DB Joseph's friends, and DB Joseph's
Okay.
friend introduced me to DB Joseph and was like, uh you're gonna lose to DB Joseph in Smash, yada yada yada. So we played, and then that just developed to him finding out that I play Street Fighter, and just went from there.
Nice, nice. I like that. Yeah, bridging the connection, y'all. That's very interesting. That how there may be like always somebody, that one person that can connect you to the FGC or just introduce you to the tournament scene in general. Because that's kind of the same thing that happened to me. I didn't know about tournaments back in the day too, and somebody introduced me to the tournaments and asked me if I wanted to go to one, and I was just spectating during my first tournament. So I was like, okay, let me just see how this is. And I saw it, and I saw people were, popping off and, yelling, getting hype and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe next time I come back, I'll enter and, see what I can do. And that's kind of how it got started there for me. So that's kind of the same thing that happened to you. Somebody introduced you, and they found out that you play Street Fighter, and kind of grew from there.
Yep,
That's
yep.
what's up.
I'm very thankful for it. Yeah, it's crazy how you don't know something exists until you know. Like I had seen evil and stuff, but that was my first time knowing that there was like something called a local.
Yeah, a local tournament. See, like they ran tournaments for this game in your state that you're in,
Yeah,
and it's like you may find out like super super late, but you find out it exists. Like, dang, we got tournaments in the state. I didn't know that. And then
yep,
that person put you on, and then boom, you in there. Then you could probably put somebody else on. So it's just kind of like a chain reaction. But that's what's up, man. Some areas and states didn't have the resources to compete at that level. Because early Street Fighter Five, it didn't have a trial, a demonstration, and challenge modes. So a lot of new players was just kind of like in the dark with survival mode, and then just online lobbies, maybe watching replays. But accessibility was a lot different. If you had somebody to play with and grind with, you had the boost, you had the Zenkai boost. Because if they beat you, you just get stronger and you just laugh from there. And that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So we kind of have a little similar origin story. Somebody brought us into the FGC, and we just kind of just took it from there and just made it our own thing. But let me ask, Sir Retro. I know you're in the background in the ones and twos, maintaining, holding down the fort.
Mhm.
As the mayor make it, because this kind of segs into a question
Mhm.
for you. How do you maintain and manage the growth of your Street Fighter scene and make?
Man, you know what? If you asked me probably a year or two ago, even it's like before the pandemic hits, I couldn't tell you a straightforward answer. It still is not even a straightforward answer in the sense, but it came to a point where, and like I said, in like it was the ironic part is that pandemic. I'm not sure if it affected it in a way, but it was weird, and even now where like for us to have the Street Fighter scene, 'cause at one point I took away Street Fighter Five, and it was because at one point the scene was not supporting in general. Like they wouldn't come out at one point. For example, if players, a certain player were not there, if a certain number of players were not there, or whatever, or who someone wasn't there that they don't know that they want to beat or they want to meet top player, whatever. But and that's all before the pandemic. To have it now where it's have some type of growth, like it was weird. It still astounds me to this day. Um, if I can give you the best answer, it's both with the me still just having the game there, and it's still the faithful few who still like play the game in spite of its ups and downs, and the fact that we have like the core five players at least will say play it do it since its launch, do its arcade change, do its champion change, and so forth. This is where, hey, I'm gonna do a Street Fighter tournament. If people show up, that's fine. No one shows up, that's fine as well. I might take it down, and people will show up and maybe one or two extra person. But then it was weird because during the pandemic, when it came to online events, of course, Augusta made its reemergence after so many years, and they kind of showed themselves with online stuff, and they kind of gave us some training alongside, with you guys from Atlanta. And then you had, at some point, you had people who we haven't seen or heard of at all that applied and signing for some of the online tournaments that we did, and found out this person's from 20 minutes away from Macon and in the city we never heard of. And then, as you know, found out works at the flower shop downtown in Macon, drive 20 minutes away to go to work, and he plays Street Fighter. And he played online, and then he just hopped up from online to when we started to open up to online in-person tournaments. He showed up a bit, and it got to a point where when we had online tournaments and he couldn't make it. And the person I'm speaking to, of course, is but speaking about is Evernight. So he may not play Street Fighter now, but at the time when he made his debut in 2020, is where he was trying to get an online tournament, but he didn't have good internet, but he was willing to drive. No, he's like, hey, I don't have any good internet service. I'm like, hey, well, you can come to my house, use my internet, use my account. I mean, I'm TOing, so I can't do too much at once. So here you go. So he will come down and he will compete through my account, online tournaments and stuff like that, and we'll play offline and just have fun and so forth and chat. And of course, that when that happened, the players who played Street Fighter 5, consistently for the and live Warner Robins, for example, and here when they heard about one new person jumping in Street Fighter 5, they're like, oh, well, let me try this guy out. Their curiosity kind of brought the best out of them to where they started to come out more and say, okay, well, we got a new person to come down. I want to play him. So even if just one person, they were willing to come out just to try this new person. Or if someone's online, like Augusta, Atlanta, whatever, they will say, hey, you know what? Let me hop online and see what this guy all about. And and of course, things happen with life happen. Having family, this and that happen. And it took time. I haven't heard from many people for months. But then at one point, like recently, they were like, "Hey, man, I'm free. So what's going on? Who's still playing Street Fighter? I'll try my new Dan. I've been trying this new character." So yeah, and then some players actually been quiet because they've been training in private and just want to showcase their new skill or whatever. And then you have new 1 to 2 new players to show up, and it just snowball. And last year was this where Street Fighter became more popular than Tekken, because Tekken was the most popular game in our area for the longest, or at least the most supported game. Because we always had no less than 12 or 14 players, and Street Fighter will always be like behind with 8, 7, maybe 6, maybe no less than 6, I would say, and then might shoot at one point at 10 if Atlanta players come down, whatever. But for now, Street Fighter seems a more stable, consistent support down here, and I think it's just more with the people and me deciding to let that game still be showcased and presented, and seeing that people will still come to it. And now it got to a point where Tekken players are done with Tekken and like, well, I'll try this new game. Hey, look how Street Fighter is. Let me tell about Street Fighter 5. And and I remember for a while, the crazy part that we would not encourage, we would push people to play Street Fighter 5, especially when it wasn't in that great season, or it wasn't that in that great. No, it wasn't in the right. No, it wasn't great as we wanted it to be. And I think when Champion Edition came out, I think and then a time frame where the pandemic and everything, it just weird for us. It's like all of a sudden here come all these people want to play this game, even with the bad online, or not so great online, or whatever. So it's that, like I said, there's no straightforward answer of how we still have Street Fighter 5, and now we have this rivalry stuff going on. We have newcomers coming in. You have then with the help of the Reboot running exhibition series, Street Fighter 5 is the most popular game to be picked. Not only just for Macon, Middle Georgia, also Atlanta, and then you have players from Savannah that play Street Fighter 5. They play online lately, so we have a Cody player that's been wrecking us too. So yeah, it's really interesting. Even though we know the pandemic and the online experience is not great, it's just something about it where people are still willing to support this game in spite of. And I'm just surprised how, like I said, it's so survived to this day. I don't know it went on forever, but yeah, I can't.
No, you said what's in your heart, man. You speak your truth. This is what this is all about, man. I'm not gonna cut you off. I'm gonna let you talk. If you want to talk, go ahead. Say what's on your mind, man. Say what's on your mind. This is one of those platforms that you can do that, man. I'm not gonna ring the buzzer. You're taking too long. Nah, I'm gonna let you cook, man. I'll let you cook. But that's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Did you let me see. Ice Effect, you've been to a reboot before, right? In Macon?
A reboot? I actually have not. No, I have not. I guess I need to make that happen.
Okay.
That's impressive, though. That I wonder how much it has to do with the fact that Street Fighter's perception in general has gotten better since it was a couple of years ago. That's made people more likely to play it.
Yeah. I want to say because also I think the concept is because it's Street Fighter, it's that game, it's that fighting game, it's the legacy of it, and it's crazy because Street Fighter has went through really rough times. Street Fighter 3 was a perfect example of how that did not turn out, but because it's Street Fighter and people know about it, even people who don't play Street Fighter, people who don't know about video games, know what Street Fighter is, and then as long as it's there, in a sense, that's the game someone's gonna gravitate to. And even like I said, Street Fighter 6 coming out, people is like, I want to play this. Like people who's like my girlfriend, she trying to learn Street Fighter through me, because of me, and then because watching Terrence, she likes she likes Chun-Li. So it's just something about it itself that is crazy to have that legacy, to where even the roughest moments and the rough experiences that this community, especially here, been going through. You know, it was like, you know what? I'm tired of this game. I ain't gonna play this game for 2 years. Next thing you know, they're like, you know what? I'll pick this game up again. You see their name on the online, like what the wait, I thought they gave up this game. I thought they stopped playing. And then so yeah, and Shadow no, it's like Shadows can tell you a few times on his end when they have happened too.
I was like, yo, what's this person doing? Like, what? They're online? Stop. But yeah, that's what's up, man. You never gave up the ghost, man. You kept supporting this scene and hosting the events, and then as they say, if you build it, they'll come. And you just kept running it, regardless of how many entrants there were. Of course, TOs have different views on what's allowed. Some TOs might say, well, if this game doesn't get a certain number of numbers, we're just gonna cut it. He was like, nah, we'll keep it up, man. If whoever enters, and then we'll just go from there. And I think it's kind of like an effect where if they see a certain a player winning constantly, and they're like, well, I know I could beat this person. Well, let me go to this event. Then they'll sign up, and then somebody else on the background be like, oh, this person's winning now. All right, bet. Let me come in and let me knock them off the throne. And it becomes it just grows from there, and that's how you just keep the numbers coming up, man. But
Yep.
the fact that you still got people, such a good scene down there, still playing the game, is what's up. And then
Yeah.
those exhibitions definitely help too as well,
Oh yeah.
because you see players that be like, well, I think I can play a good set against this person, so let me sign up for the exhibition, and
Yeah.
then boom, there you go, you got you a new set. So shout outs to you, man, for the grind on making that happen down there. But we're gonna dive into back to take a look once again at the Street Fighter Five one more round. Last time I saw Ice Effect was of course at the first one, and we had we had three champions right now. The first one was Alex Dot Dot with his Blanca. Then we have Milo Maz. He won the second one with his Ken, and then Neon won the third one with his Manat. And I'm like, wow. I was like, yo, I haven't seen Neon since the pandemic began, and the fact that they came out to play was like huge, man. That was a huge milestone for that series, and I think it's a good tempo to keep it at like a monthly type of thing, versus like trying to have it weekly or bi-weekly, because again, a lot of our players are a bit older now. Like Ice Effect said, he's into his career. A lot of people, people have families and things like that now. So it's kind of, if you keep it at that a good weekend, that one good weekend out the month, I think that's better. I think that's better than try to just do it bi-weekly. At least for now, at least for this game, at least for Street Fighter Five. The rest of the time, we'll see what happens with Street Fighter Six. It'll be a new generation, so I think a lot of companies and TOs were going to dip their hands in trying to run their events and stuff like that, and that could lead to a new bloom of future players coming in and trying to do their thing out there. And then us older players, we were like, dang man, can we beat this new generation, or we have to show these young bucks what time it is? So I like this schedule that we're keeping here for this particular event, man. But so since we had three different champions of that series, it showed us that there are people out there that are still playing here in the scene. We had the mix of the new players, and that's huge. The new faces coming in, especially on the younger side. So we need to try to keep that fire, brewing for Street Fighter Six for sure. And being an older player in the scene coming in from the Street Fighter Four era, which was pretty much more cutthroat back then. Shouts to CRTs, you know what I'm saying? If you guys know knows what I'm talking about, how people had to lug those things around with their Xboxes to get set up and stuff like that. It's two different worlds. Flash forward into comparing back then into now. So that's what's up, man. That's what's up. And let me segue into a good question here. Want to talk about the mental health of of players in the FGC. We want to see because pandemic again, the pandemic changed the entire world. You know, free. It changed the landscape of how things look, and I think the scene could have possibly been different if the pandemic didn't happen, but it did happen. We live in a real world. This is what's happening now, and we got to deal with it. So I want to talk about how mental health comes into effect on players. So Ice Effect, let me ask you this question then. So as far as mental health, the question is, how do you maintain a healthy mind or a healthy mindset towards playing the game, like playing the game in general?
Um, I guess I try to remind myself that's just fun. It's just something I'm doing at the end of the day for fun. Um, so I try to, even though I get upset, when I lose, I just keep a positive mindset. As man, I tell myself I only lost because I didn't play, you know, because of such and such. So I just tell myself, okay, if I just learn this, then I'll be good. I try not to let losses really like affect me mentally. And in regards to COVID, it was definitely tough not being able to meet up with people. So that definitely was affecting me. But I just had to find different alternatives to still find ways to entertain myself during that time. So I got real big on like going outside to hike. Just try to find places where no one else was at, so I could just explore my own. Um, but for the video game aspect, yeah, I just try to keep reminding myself that at the end of the day, it's just a game. Of course, I want to win. You play to win the game, but yeah, as long as I remind myself that it's all in good fun, that helps keep my mental side sane, if that makes sense.
And I think that's a big important factor in growth as a player too as well. You said at the end of the day it is a game. But there's levels to it. There's levels to it. There's fun, and then there's like okay, then there's the serious competitive nature of the game, and that's when you got majors and regionals and big time events.
Oh,
That's when that factors in. That's when that comes into
yeah.
play for sure.
And I will
Um,
say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you right.
Yeah, I will say that I obviously I've had it hasn't always been perfect. Like I've definitely had the game affect me, pretty badly. Uh Let me think. For example, I know there was one CEO where I just completely choked a match away, and my friends still laugh about it with me to this day because I just went into my room and I just went straight to sleep for the rest of the day. And just didn't talk about the loss until like a week later. um, and then specifically, I remember at the very first Red Bull, I played in the individual tournament. I played just really, really, really badly, and I was just like, I was just so defeated. I was like, man, I let myself down. I let the state down. Like, I can't believe this, But
Mm,
shout out to James Chen during that time. He actually walked up to me like a TV show character. He's like, man, you gotta remind yourself that's just a game. Like you can do this. Just you can't let it get to you like this. And it actually, his words actually helped me a lot. And that was the moment where I really realized that okay, I need to change my mental and realize that it is just a game at the end of the day. Even though I really want to win, I can't let it hurt me, truly, truly hurt me like it was. You know what I'm saying? And once I did that, it helped me, get better over time. But yeah, I just wanted to say that yeah, there have been times where it truly did affect me, mental health wise.
yeah, and it's there is levels. There are levels. Warden, I do see your question in the chat, and I'll touch on that. Um, it can affect you mentally for sure, especially when you're going into an event. There are things that happen outside of the game that you deal with, life for stress, stuff like that. They that this the fighting games were kind of like an escape for that, right? You go to this tournament, you meet you meet like-minded individuals, and you compete, and you play, you do fellowship with your fellow gamers, and you guys like, okay, you play your matches, you have a good time, and then at the end of the day, once the event is over, you go back home and you have to deal with whatever happens, whatever was left back at home. And that's how I kind of considered FGC, in general for me, where it was that you go to this event, you leave all the stuff out the door, and then once you leave the tournament, you get in your car, you drive home, you pick it back up, and just deal with it then. And that can definitely mental health is definitely a key ingredient, for being a well developed player for sure, man. Because if you're not in the right mind, I guarantee you're not playing well. You're not going to play well. Period. Like I don't care who you are. If there's something that's like that's happening in real time, as far as like maybe personal family health issues, you may have gotten some bad news, financial issues, this, that, and the third. I guarantee it's going to affect your play. And when you enter and compete in a tournament and you lose, you may lose focus, or you should have did something in this situation where you could have won that match. And if you go back, you watch the footage, and you be like, dang, I could have easily reacted to that, or I could have easily done this, that, and the third, and I would have won the match. And it kind of stacks, it adds on to that mental stack, because you're already dealing with something, and then sometimes that heartbreaking loss can kind of just push things over the edge a little bit, especially if especially at a major, man. When you're on, if you get called up for a stream match and you're on so many people you're playing, and you like, bro, I got this matchup in the bag. I know this character. I know what to do in this situation, in this scenario. I got this. I'm good to go. If I beat this person, I can either get out of pools, I can qualify our pools, and I can play the next day. But if I lose, I am out of the tournament. My run is over with. So let's go ahead and play this match. And you just in your mind, in the back of your mind, your subconscious, like, yo, you still dealing with whatever that is that was kind of messing you up a little bit. And say, like, yo, you may have choked in a situation where you're like, brain, dang, I had that match won. The match was done. And it could come down to that last crucial, moment where, okay, you just need this one hit and you good. You win. You win the match, you qualify out your pools, you can play another day. But no, you don't. Something happened during that match, and you just wasn't as focused as you should have been, which is why maintaining a proper diet, like exercise, drinking, being hydrated, stuff like that. All of that those particular type of factors, those can help you deal with your situations, but there may be ongoing issues that can't fix. Like that's when you kind of dive into the professional help territory. And Warden, the saying you asked, seeking professional help because some people actually need that too. That's another thing, as well. I do believe in counseling, as well. Especially if you're a player, what really helps is just not playing the game for a while, like just putting the game down. Because remember, when you're going out to these events, you're representing not only yourself, especially if you're a sponsor player, you're representing that company too, as well. And you don't want to make the company look bad by your actions, by your personal demons and stuff like that that can go on. So one of my best opinions there, if you're in that, if it gets to that particular level, just put the game down and seek that psychiatric help for sure, and that counseling to get you back, because fighting games, believe it or not, that the mental stack does help. It does happen. It does happen. But when you're in a positive mindset, when you're in a good, healthy, you got a good, healthy flow going on for you. The health is good. You're drinking water. You're hydrated. You're good. You're mentally prepared to play your matches. But that all of that comes into just relating to just the mental health in general. So, yeah, that was a good question, Warren, for sure. Thank you so much for that. And Thank you, Ice, for giving your thoughts on that. Retro, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, well, like I said, as a someone, I know it may sound a little personal, but someone who, who's been touring organizer, competitor, producer, lot, especially wearing a lot of hats as well, within and without the side communities, well, even within, I deal with therapy, and it really helps out a lot because a lot of stuff we realize that a lot of people don't think about how you live your life can affect how you play your game. And one thing I never forget when I was at KB's apartment many years ago, um, and Excited Beast was talking to Big Boss DP and giving him some pointers and stuff like that when Street Fighter Five was um, shortly started, and we was went to KB's apartments for sessions, and one of the things about something about patience, and I remember overhearing it, and I can never forget it. And Excited Beast was like, "Well, if you don't know how to be patient in real life, you're not gonna be patient in the game." And that stuck with me for a while, where things in life can affect how you play the game, how your personality and how your actions, behavior can affect your gameplay. And it's really interesting. And the more I watch the players and I see some of their personalities, and of course, it could be some players, that example, that has opposite side where they're super nice to you in real life and super kind, but they're mean and nasty, disrespectful, and stuff like that. But at the same time, there's some elements of, learning, like, how your life, things, the tragedies, the ups and downs, your depression, whatever you're going through, it affects your playstyle as far as your fatigue, your stamina, your focus. And of course, for me, doing a lot, when I went to therapy, it helped me. There was questions asked that I was like, you know what, I didn't think of it like that. And and then at the same time, when I was playing with people and they'll ask me some questions, they're like, "Huh, that sounds familiar to what my therapist was asking me." And so it started to line up. So in the case, how seeking professional help can not only help with your life better, can even, in a sense, help your gameplay better. So for me, I'm also working at medical school at Mercer University. I mean, as a secretary, but on the side, I can research articles and stuff like that. And I've been researching like articles that based on mental, physical health, and gaming, and how it affects one way, how both of them affects the other. So yeah, so with that, in mind, like I said, ultimately, of course, if things in life is a real struggle, of course, like I said, take that time to break away from gaming stuff, especially you need to, and then focus on the health, because like I said, it can affect your gameplay, it can affect your stamina and whatever else. But like I said, if you work on being patient, or be patient, or you're working on resolving issues, or you work on taking that big step or that courage, you're scared to jump in the pool, or you're scared to talk to somebody you had an issue with. If you play Street Fighter or whatever, that matchup that's really bad, but you know what? But you like your character, like, you know what? I'm gonna step up to this. I'm gonna step up to this matchup. I mean, I might get bodied, but then I can handle the matchup even better, and I won't be discouraged anymore. Or if I know this opponent, I'm facing to always be my demon, he always beat me. He may or may not taunt me or whatever. They may not taunt me or whatever. You know what? I'm gonna step up to the plate. I'm definitely do this. So it's really cool to see that that effect plays all. So yeah, seeking help in any kind of way, especially taking the breaks in between, it could have a really good effect on how you play the game and overall.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree with that, man. You, again, if you're not 100% there mentally for just going into an event, it will definitely shot your play. It will definitely shoot your play down, for sure. That's why breaks are recommended, man. Breaks are recommended. If you noticing that you're losing more matches than you usually lose, or you're just not playing yourself. You're just feeling off, fatigued. The stamina, stuff like that is just low energy, bad reactions. Knowing that you can react to stuff like that, then you have to look into the mirror and just think, okay, well, maybe it's time for a break. And you know, a lot of players take breaks. A lot of players take breaks. You kind of see on social media. If you look on social media, you look on Twitter, you may see somebody post about being frustrated about, you know, online, or frustrated about a matchup or a person or something. Like they just out their frustrations out on social media, but they continue to still play the game, right? You notice that, like, they even, like, if they stream the game, um, they'll start to, you kind of see the frustration in their play and their attitude and stuff like that, and that kind of that kind of segue into mental health, because if something is bothering you, you know, fighting games can kind of amplify your anger, can amplify the anger. So if you are feeling that way, and if it gets to that point, just take a break, yo.
Yep.
Please just take a break.
And I
You
posted
know,
the
talk to somebody.
yeah, go
Yeah, I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Cause
I was gonna say, just talk to somebody. Just take a break, man. Clear your mind. Like Ice Effects, he's on hikes. He goes on hikes, spiritual. You know, that's like a spiritual awakening thing right there. Like,
hmm
what do you do? Like hike it early in the morning, like around 6 or 5 in the morning. Get that sunrise.
Kind of, yeah. We kind of made a little ritual with my friends where, like, every week or every 2 weeks we just go to a different
nice.
spot, or every Saturday morning, just so we can, have a good start to that day. So yeah, essentially, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I,
there you go.
yeah. And I also posted in the chat the link to Seeking Mental Health, so you have some guidelines and calls and numbers if you need to. So you have, and take a little mental health test as well. So you can go that more professional route.
There you go. There's a link to a good resource too as well. Shout out to ShadowAce for putting that in the chat and letting our viewers know, man. But yeah, that is one of the best things you can do. Even sometimes just playing a different game can help too as well. Or maybe just like I say, take a break from the game, re-clear your thoughts, and exercise is one of the better things to do mentally. You know, you can lift weights, do some cardio, or you could just talk about somebody. You know, talk to somebody about it. If you don't have somebody to talk to, there is someone that you can reach out and talk to. Don't think that nobody's not willing to listen to your problems and your issues. Hell, if you wanna message me and we could talk. At Mind of Shadow Ace on Twitter. If you want to DM me and you want to talk about some stuff, you can do it for free. I'm more than happy to listen and give you my feedback on what's going on. But there is always somebody out there that is willing to help you. So just don't think you're in this battle alone, for sure. And yeah, man, just that's pretty much it. Mental health is very important to keep in line, keep you in check, because again, fighting games were that avenue of just escaping from those problems, and they did help because they were kind of like therapy, right? And you meet in like-minded individuals. They have the same hobby. They play in the same game as you, and they may be going through a similar situation. So you guys come together, you play. If you talk to each other, you might find out more about each other and be like, "Hey, man, I'm dealing with this, that, and the third, and hey, I'm dealing with this, that, and the third," and then you guys can kind of just correlate from there. So yeah, it's a small world, man. You just never know. All you gotta do is try to reach out, and somebody's always willing to listen, man. But let's dive into another particular interesting topic here before we get down to trying to know Ice Effect a little bit. Get more information on some Ice Effect. Let's go with play styles and respect. I think that's the topic about fighting games. I always feel that like a top player mindset versus a casual mindset, like a godlike read versus mashing. Like how does and I think this actually relates to mental health too as well, because a lot of the times what people would do, like, just they'll casual audience, what they'll do is they'll say you may do a godlike read or execution wake up DP or something like that. You do a wake up DP, it hits, people gonna say you mashed that, right? But if a certain particular player, a professional, top level player does it, they'll call it a read, like a galaxy brain read. Oh my god, how did he know he was gonna do something? Or tech right there, and he just got hit by a DP. Like, they'll give they'll shower that person with respect versus Joe Johnny over here who did DP on Wake Up and they calling him a scrub. So why I just wanted to know, like, where's that hive mindset coming from? Like, why are people actually not giving the respect to certain players? Like, if they, like, execution wise, if they do something that is considered that may look quote unquote scrubby, but it works, versus a top player who does the same thing and is considered godlike. Ice Effect, what are your thoughts on that?
Um, I think one thing they have to do with the character the person is using. I think certain characters are just straight up just viewed as more scrubby than others. So if someone does something, a nice read with a quote unquote scrubby character, they'll be looked on worse than if it's like a, I don't know, like a Ryu doing the same thing. I think that's one major thing. And the other thing is, this is a 1v1 game. So people like to, it's hard for some people to accept that, another person may just straight up be better than them, in a 1v1
Mm.
environment. So it makes them come up with excuses as to why that person may be outperforming them, in certain events or areas of the game. And that's how you get to things such as downplaying and like, you got lucky read, things like that. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's kind of I think a lot of it has to do with the 1v1 nature of the game and the fact that it's just harder for people to accept when someone is just someone's just better.
They won't give them the flowers, yo. They won't just give them their flowers, man. Just good games, GGs. Let's move on, bro. Let's not bash. Let's not bash, man. If somebody does something that's a real good play or good read, let's give them respect, man. Let's not call them scrubby and mashing and all that. I know that's hard to ask. That's hard to ask for, especially in today's climate. But not everybody is gonna have that. Not everybody's gonna have that yin yang balance as far as just giving respect. Like, if somebody does something on Wake Up and you get hit by it, it was your fault for getting hit by it, right? You try to go for something like some form of mix or some type of read on their Wake Up, and you got hit for it. You got punished. So you have to hold that. You got to hold it. That it is what it is. But as far as the stigma goes, where if this player is unknown and they do it and it works, it's like, oh, okay. Well, congratulations. But you're still a scrub or something like that. You always get negative backlash, and that kind of goes into what we were talking about mental health. Because if people are giving you negative comments and stuff like that about your gameplay, and not respecting this, that, and the third, it can be taxing on you too as well. So I think, as far as like play style, I think people are going to naturally do what they feel like. If they can adjust, that's a part of their growth. But for the most part, I think we should just let it rock. Let the play style rock, man. If somebody does something crazy, you gotta hold it. You just gotta hold it. So, yeah. So appreciate that ice effect. But before we get down to like one of the main questions I had there, let's talk about upcoming events real quick that we have. Only thing I have here is that we have Street Fighter 5 one more round at 4-4 Esports on July 9th. On July 9th, it'll actually be a part of a DJ battle event that's going down at 4-4 Esports here in Atlanta, Georgia. So July 9th, they got they'll be doing Ultra Street Fighter 4, 6 o'clock p.m. Samurai Showdown at 7 p.m. and Street Fighter 5 at 8 p.m. So there's different artists performing there for that DJ battle competition, and so I expect a good audience, a good turnout, and that kind of that kind of relates to Street Fighter. So Street Fighter, since Street Fighter 6 is going with a more urban theme, you know what I'm saying? So it's I'm glad that we're getting this event to get people just to watch, even if they're not able to play. That I'm pretty sure they're going to be spectating and saying ooh ah, being amazed at what they see. So July 9th is the next Street Fighter 5 one more round event. Um, outside of that, we got Evo. I think Evo is in August. So we will more likely will get some Street Fighter 6 news there. Probably more likely a character reveal. Maybe they'll announce a beta for the world to test out. And then I think after that is Summer Jam and East Coast Throwdown. Big E Gaming event for Summer Jam, and then there's East Coast Throwdown after that. As far as events goes, but outside of that, SirRetro, did you have any events?
Yep, I'll post only the two that we had, but yeah, we because it's not gonna be Street Fighter 5, but we're gonna go a little bit more back in time because you did have Street Fighter 4, so we're gonna have it even further for the Reboot Retrocade Rivals 2. Retro Rivals 2 tournament. So we're gonna have Street Fighter 2 Super Turbo, Street Fighter 3, and we might sneak in a Street Fighter 4 for our locals if those want to come, and Macon want to come down. But also we're gonna have Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as well featured. So pretty much this is, I mean, it's kind of funny how we thought about it that all this lines up to become a big Street Fighter celebration because it is his 35th anniversary. And you have all these big celebrations. So you have the feature of Street Fighter 6 coming out soon, but then we're going to have Street Fighter 2, Third Strike, and then you guys going to have Ultra and Street Fighter 5. So it's pretty much, and then the thing is that you still have these players who still play the older Street Fighter games before 5. So, like I said, that legacy, the game that is, people play Street Fighter. People love Street Fighter. So no matter from the oldest to the newest, you're gonna the scene's still here. So to say the scene is dead, to say the scene is gone, or is at its wit's end, is never gonna come back. Yeah, like I said, even behind Street Fighter 5 for the exhibition, Street Fighter 2 Super Turbo was a huge one. I think probably the second biggest game, if not the biggest game pick for the exhibition. Super Turbo is popular. So either way, you get, so like July, I said this is also July 9th at the Reboot. So it's on the same day as you guys' event, but either way, we're gonna have Street Fighter. We got 4 Street Fighter games featured on the same day. So all ages and all types.
Street Fighter.
Exactly. So either way, wherever you go, there will be a Street Fighter. You got the Ultra and Street Fighter 5. Atlanta, and then you got Street Fighter Turbo, Super Turbo, and Third Strike, and down in Macon. So, like I said, the only one we feel bad for not having is Alpha and the first Street Fighter.
You know what I'm saying? We got all the other ones. We got everything else. I was like, you might as well go and slide them in there. Street Fighter 1 tournament, let's go.
Oh, Lord. We actually might do that for a mystery fighting game tournament. So I'm actually looking into doing that. I do have one more, but it's a few weeks after the Retro Rivals. We will have another monthly Street Fighter involved. Well, it will be, of course, Reboot monthly. The 23rd, that will be Street Fighter 5, Tekken 7, King of Fighters 15, and Guilty Gear Strive. But hopefully, if not, hopefully later down the line, we're looking at expanding our game list and where we can open up to more side tournaments. So that's something we'll look into because we know that some people will start asking for other games to be featured and they want to represent it. So we'll hear you guys out there. We're just working on it. So yeah, but that's between me and ShadowAce, what we all presented. There you guys go.
All right, there it is. Those are the latest updates as of Juneteenth for Father's Day. Again, happy Father's Day to all the FGC pops out there, the GA FGC pops, and just dads in general, man. Happy Father's Day, universal all around, man. So yeah, let's get into learn a little bit more about Ice Effect here. So Ice Effect.
Hey.
What is one of your fondest Georgia tournament memories that you can remember?
Oh man, that's a good question. Probably whenever. Dang, that's a good question. It's probably the most minor moment ever. That I don't like that maybe most people wouldn't care about. There was one specific Gwinnett Brawl where I think a lot of Alabama people came, I believe, and it wasn't just like the typical Alabama people. It must have been like a different part of Alabama. I'm not sure. All I know is that we had a whole lot of players who weren't normally there, who were there, and I played one of them in grand finals, and it was just really hype. Joel was just being a character that whole tournament. And so were other people just getting hype behind us while we were playing. It was definitely like the loudest Gwinnett Brawl that I have been a part of. That specific one, that everyone's just getting hype on both sides whenever anything happened. Um, that was just very, very enjoyable. That was fun. For me personally, like something that I did. Definitely, again, in my younger days, I was a little bit more immature and braggy. One of the Red Bulls, I was active. I was feeling very cocky. I'm not even gonna lie. Like sometimes I feel myself a little bit too much. And there's one specific Red Bull that I ended up winning, and as to show my dominance, I essentially just stood up on the chair after I beat Terrence, I believe, and just like flexed in front of everybody. And
Oh my gosh.
everyone started laughing or clapping or booing, and they ended up even putting that on like the hype reel for like the Red Bull Proving Grounds events. So that was definitely entertaining, and that just reminds me of how much I've grown, because I don't know if I would do that nowadays. But yeah, but yeah, there's been a lot of hype moments, a lot of great moments with the Georgia FGC. And I can't wait till we're back in full force, especially when Street Fighter 6 comes, so we can experience more.
Nah, for sure, man, for sure. I think the fact that everyone has their own different, of course, memory as far as like what do they consider the hypest or the most cherished memory, for sure, in the game. So that's what's up, man. So I think you already answered this, but who introduced you to fighting games, or how did you find the Georgia FTC? We already talked about that a bit earlier in the broadcast. You already mentioned that it was DB Joseph, because you guys went to the same school, and he introduced you, or you guys talked about Street Fighter, and then it kind of just segued from there.
Yeah, so he introduced me into the fighting game scene, tournaments. The way I got introduced into fighting games, that goes way, way back. So video games
That goes
isn't
even
my
further.
yeah, so that's not my main passion. My main passion is sports. Like I am a sports addict, specifically basketball. And I'm pretty like people say that they love sports, but I take it to the next level. I'm the guy who knows like the analytics, the advanced stats. I literally
You-
live and breathe specifically basketball. And when I was a kid, just like every other little kid, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make it to the NBA, I'm gonna be a basketball player. But the older I got, the shorter I realized I was, and it's like, dang, this ain't gonna happen. So I need to find another outlet for my competitive drive. And
Mhm.
first start off with MMOs. I played Guild Wars and World of Warcraft and got really involved in raiding during that little bit of time. And from there, I had always been playing Smash Bros on the side, but then I really started playing Smash Brothers, and so that's how I started technically getting into fighting games, is through Smash Brothers. And then when Street Fighter 4 came out, it just looked so interesting, and it's like, man, I gotta try this. This looks so cool. Um, and then once I got to Street Fighter, that's really when my competitive side of me was really satisfied, and that's what got me truly into fighting games and got me to where I am now.
Okay. Okay. So, if anybody wants to discuss some basketball, this is the guy you got to talk to. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, like if y'all want to talk about numbers, y'all gonna want to talk about stats. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk about Golden State, getting the dub. This is the guy you got to speak to. So, again, shout outs to Ice Effect here for giving us that information. And let me ask you, what do you think of the current Street Fighter 5 community scene here in Georgia?
Um, I think I think it's better than probably what other states are going through right now. I think especially with this current revival that's happening. Um, I know that just like pretty much everywhere, it's not as populated as it was when Street Fighter first came out, obviously, but I do believe that there's still people who want to play, as we've seen with the recent tournaments. And I'm 100% confident that when Street Fighter 6 comes, that we're gonna have a huge revival. I think people are just waiting for that one big fighting game to bring everybody back, and so far, Street Fighter 6 looks like that could be the one. So yeah, honestly, I truly do think that it may not we may not be having like 1,000 players per tournament, but I do think that we're on the we're at a good level, and I think it's just gonna keep increasing, especially the closer we get to Street Fighter 6.
Now, for sure, man, the first few tournaments are going to set the tone for the next 6 to 7 years for the life cycle of the game. Whether our veterans pick up the game, play it for a first couple of seasons or months, and then they put it down. But hey, I tried it, this, that, and the third. But I'm washed up. I'm old or something like that. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Shouts to the older players, man. You guys are the foundation, man. But yeah, that'll definitely that first event, that first Street Fighter event, the sixth event, man, it's gonna go crazy for sure. Um, and I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Again, once we get more information, more likely at Evo, we'll see what the direction is as far as getting it a concrete release date. And see what the beta network tests look like for the game. So let me ask, what advice do you have for the next generation of players that are coming into Street Fighter 6 to keep the scene going?
Um, I guess the first thing is just to come. Like you may have I don't know what's the best way to say this. My best advice, yeah, is just to show up. I don't think I've ever had a bad time once I showed up to a tournament. There have been plenty of times where I've regretted not going to a tournament, but there's never been a time where I've gone to a tournament and been like, dang, I wish I hadn't come, you know? So that's my very first advice is just come out, just come see how it is. You get to interact with a lot of people that you may not have interacted with before. You get to make friends, have more people to talk to. It's just always a great time. That's my first thing that I would say. And the second is yeah, just have fun. Don't take it too seriously. Online is definitely a way for everyone to get better. I definitely recommend rank match is definitely, at least for me, the way to go if you want to just to get yourself at a good level. And when you're in training, sure you can train for combos and how to do certain things, but for me, the best thing to always train in training mode was situations. So if you realize that, every time I got this dude in the corner, he does this move and I don't have an answer, If you just go to training mode and figure out the answer to that move, then you may win, 20 more matches than you may have that you probably would not have won previously, So those would be my main advices for a new player is one, just show up to tournaments, because there's always a good time. You're always gonna learn new things about yourself and the people around you, and you're just gonna, have a great time. And yeah, just online is good.
All right, there it is, man. Sounds like a solid training regimen to me. And what are your thoughts on Street Fighter 6?
Oh man, that thing look good. Like it looks that thing looks really, really good. It's funny, before Street Fighter 6 got announced, I was on, like I said, I play a lot of League of Legends, so I was looking at the League fighting game. I was like, okay, this game is gonna change everything. They're gonna throw, that company's rich, they're gonna throw billions of dollars at it, it's gonna change fighting games as we know it. Um and I really wasn't expecting, I didn't expect Street Fighter 6 to come this hard. I really didn't. But from everything I've seen, I'm very, very interested. The gameplay looks amazing. The presentation, it looks like the best presentation since like Marvel 3, it looks like the main reason I think this game is gonna be good is just the small things. Like I don't know if you've seen like the loading screen, facial animations, things that you can change.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, a developer only asks that when they have nothing else to do, kind of. That tells me that this game is in such a good state that they can be like, you know what, let's fool around. Let's add, Chun-Li pouting in the loading screen. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, the game just seems like it's in a really, really good state, and I can't wait. And I'm not gonna use a grappler. I told myself that I'm done with grapplers. It's just I hate missing grabs. You know, I've missed grabs in Street Fighter 4 with Abel. I've missed grabs in Street Fighter 5 with Laura. And I want to use a Rekka, so I'm gonna definitely use a Rekka character in Street Fighter 6. It looks like Jamie's one, so as of
So
right now, that's a character I'm looking at.
oh, I got you. So if I need the Jamie matchup experience, I gotta hit you up, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. If he's the only Rekka character, then I'm definitely gonna give him a shot. Especially coming from Grand Blue. There's a character in Grand Blue that really got me into using Rekkas, and it's just a satisfying type of play style.
Yeah, cause actually they showed someone had the video of their move list. Yeah, he's Rekka for sure. I think he's gonna be that mix of yin and yang. I mean, it's not, it's kind of more obvious because given his backstory and the way he plays, like a drunken master with Rekka, that sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Then once we take a look at the what the rest of the characters bring to the table, um, I'm pretty sure that there may be another record. I'm pretty sure they can't just have Jamie as the only record character. Nah,
Yeah,
unless they want to make him like super unique, then I could see that. Or maybe they'll put in another character like in the season pass or something. But as it stands right now, it looks like Ice Effect is gonna go with Jamie here until further notice. Was there a character that you was expecting to like that you want to come back for the game?
Abel, but it seems like I'm the only person in the world who even cares about that dude. So, looks like my wishes aren't going to be satisfied. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Abel and Oni. Oni always look cool to me. I would love to see his playstyle return. Um, but yeah, it looks like those two characters won't be coming, but that's fine. Like from what I've seen, the characters that they are gonna add look amazing. So I'm not too pressed about it.
Did I lose both of y'all?
I'm here.
Oh, I think we lost ShadowAce. But yeah.
How about you? You looked at any Street Fighter 6 footage?
Oh, I've been.
You hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you now. Yes.
I hear you. Oh, okay. I was like, oh yeah. I was gonna say, there was a character already in the game. Looks like Abel, the girl, the pink hair. I don't know if you saw the leaks of it.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
But she might be able to, play like Abel, but we'll see. But yeah, that's what's up, man. But outside of that, we'll go ahead and do a open panel. If anything you'd like to talk about, Ice Effect, or anything you'd like to get off your chest.
Let's see. Elden Ring was amazing. I just want to point that out. As a big Souls fan, that game just like really, really got me good. Like that was a really good game. That company's just goated. Like I'm gonna play everything they make for the rest of my life. That was a lot. League of Legends. I don't know why I play that game, but I do. If any of you guys ever want to play League, I'm your dude. I'm currently plat. Used to be diamond. It's a curse, but it's a curse that I deal with. Outside of that, that's pretty much it. Just video games. Like I said, I like to go hiking a lot. If anyone's ever interested in hiking, me and my boys go out every other Saturday, in the morning time. Because we just, one, it's just a way to, stay a little kind of fit. It's not like we're like climbing rocks. We're just like walking all the time.
Okay.
So like, just want to if you want to get in a small little workout before you enjoy the rest of your Saturdays, anyone's welcome to join us. And it's a lot of fun every time. And yeah, and I need the Hawks to be better this year in basketball.
So I had a question, since you did actually play a lot of different other games that not are fighting games. Have you noticed over time, like even since you started, like have some of the elements or the like components or whatever or attributes? We lost him, but I'll hold it on for him since he kind of faded out. But so have you noticed like other elements or attributes from playing like other games like Elden Ring or League of Legends, so like that affected how you play Street Fighter?
Yeah. Actually, I would say it's more of the opposite, really. I feel like playing Street
Ah,
Fighter has made me better at other games.
okay.
I guess it's mostly because of situational awareness, because playing Street Fighter, you have to
Yeah.
be aware of certain situations. And
Hmm.
um, for example, League is a team-based game, but it's also a 1v1 game because
Oh yeah,
you're
yeah.
playing like even though there's 5 people in the game, you're typically only matched up against one of them,
Mm.
during the early parts. So like playing Street Fighter has made me better at just having better, situational awareness with like, dealing with another person, another human.
Hmm.
you
Welcome back,
Uh,
ShadowAce. Mhm.
welcome back. Yeah, it's done a really good job of helping me realize how other people will respond to my actions. So I'm thankful for Street Fighter and fighting games in general for that.
Cool. That's actually cool. I would say, um, it's funny for me. Well, not funny. It's interesting for me to like actually playing. So aside from me, like I play actually RPGs. I play RPGs, puzzle games, pinball. I actually like love playing pinball. Um, and I play a variety of everything. I play action adventure, beat 'em ups, but I kind of, in a sense, associate beat 'em ups with fighting games, and more or less. So they're not too different from each other, but like other genres. But other fighting games I play like so example, I actually play certain fighting games for certain reasons. So for example, if I need to work on my executions, I play Marvel 3, and I go back and I play Street Fighter 5, and I play G. So my execution with G and his combo variation, it becomes much better to deal with, and knowing my space and everything, and I really start noticing my reaction and what to press or what to do, and it's really interesting. If I learn how to be patient, I play Dragon Ball Fighters because for the most part, if I can't attack much, I have to learn how to block low, block mix up, block this way, cross up this way, Dragon Rush, all that stuff. And then when it came to playing to other games or other fighting games like Street Fighter or whatever, again, I start noticing that okay, I know this block string. I can block this. I can block this for 10 seconds, and this person can just keep trying to open me up. He tried no throw me. Yep, I can. Nope, I take that throw right on time. So yeah, it is really cool. And of course, like I said, your situational awareness. I said I believe I have the same effect as well. And I think it is a little bit vice versa. When I play like RPG and do like a tactics, I now like strategize more of what I want to do and set up the situation to set up the tools and stuff to prepare it. So then the opponent can't counter or do anything. Or if the opponent counter, like, okay, I can heal up right then and there. Or, you know what? That person can take that hit as much as times. This is what I'm going to do. And now I got this huge buff. I got buff. Boom. So, yeah. And to see that with between that and like fighting games where like I've had to figure out what the opponent wants to do, and I then prepare my resources, my super meters, and V trigger, for example, Street Fighter, or the certain bar and like Dragon Ball, whatever, or my sys and tag games, and be like, okay, this opponent's gonna try to do this. Once he start this, now I know how to counter. Now I know I can tactics. So it is really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah,
Okay.
Shadow's. I wasn't sure if you heard us, but yeah, question I kind of asked him was that since he did play many other games and was more into that versus fighting games, I was asking him how did playing other games affected the attributes and elements, whatever, that he may have carried over to fighting games. So.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate you filling in the gap. That was so odd for me. Like,
Yeah.
what happened? Like, I was talking and then all of a sudden, like, y'all just disappeared. I'm like, bro, what? I'm like, hold on. How come I don't hear nothing? But shout out to you for catching the assist, man. Teamwork. See, that's what I'm talking about. Teamwork makes the dream work. Good job, man. Thank you, SirRetro.
No problem.
Shout out to SirRetro. But all right, man. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it on up for today's broadcast. Again, thank you so much, Ice Effect, for joining in, and SirRetro, thank you so much once again on the production, on the ones and twos. You have any final words, Ice Effect? Before we close out?
Give me a follow at Ice Effect FGC, no spaces. But that's only if you want to hear a lot of sports talk, because that's pretty much what goes down there. But if you like sports, go ahead and give me a follow. And outside of that, thanks for having me. It was definitely a pleasure.
All right. And SirRetro, final words for the good folks viewing at home.
Once again, thank you guys for being with us for 8 episodes of the podcast. Thank you, Georgia, and at first, they know Georgia FGC for still being a strong community, a solid foundation. The reason I'm still being here to this very day. Another reason to for a living, because y'all guys are awesome, and not the reason I work so hard and put much effort to build a community that is making a positive aspect and positive influence. It is a positive aspect and making a positive influence, and not only just in the gaming community as a whole, but also outside of the gaming community to other people. So thank you guys for being part of that. Thank you, of course, ShadowAce and the Atlanta crew. Thank you, ISFET, for definitely having and building a strong, being trailblazers, I would say, definitely at this point for the Georgia FTC as a whole. More than Street Fighter. But of course, even especially keeping Street Fighter alive to this day as well. Thank you guys for your efforts. And of course, taking a break and not playing much of it, that's okay too. It happens to all of us. But for what you guys have left behind, or what you guys have done, at least, that has been a huge effect of how Georgia has operated in the community, as a community. So thank you guys so much for all that. For definitely, and I say thank you all to all the guys who are watching on the in the chats. Thank you for the awesome question, Warden. That's some good talks for sure. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you that you see Chris and everyone else I see in the chat. Thank you all so much. And like I said, we'll have the episode uploaded definitely, if not tonight, then by tomorrow, because of course I'll be off because I got the holiday off for Juneteenth. Yay! But definitely. So yeah, thank you so much.
All right, no problem. Once again, big shouts to SirRetro. This man is very passionate about what he does for the community, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. So he holds it down, man. He holds it down, and many scenes and states would love to have a person that cares so much about just trying to have that community grow and prosper as much as SirRetro does. So once again, thank you so much, SirRetro, for agreeing to collaborate with me on this project, getting these players' voices heard, getting their opinions heard, and 8 episodes, man, that's an amazing accomplishment. Like, I was like, man, when I first did this, I was like, man, I don't know, man. Are people going to want to do this? And I was kind of nervous and stuff, but since IceFX is a sports fan, he's like, yo, you know what? Whatever shot you miss, every shot you don't make, you know what I'm saying, or take. So I was like, let me take that philosophy and then let me go ahead and try. The worst thing they could tell me is like no, and then if not, then I just got to move on to the next person. So I do agree with everybody who has volunteered their time on their Sunday evening to make this happen. You guys are definitely the MVPs. The people who are watching at home, who are constant regular viewers and listeners, you guys are the MVPs as well. And we can only just keep continuing to grow from here. Again, we're about 2 episodes away from 10 episodes. And of course, 10 will be the season finale for season 1 of this. And I can't wait to see what the life is looking like in other scenes in season 2. So again, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. This has been ShadowAce, Data ShadowAce. You can follow me at Mind of ShadowAce. On there, I post regular updates as far as like commentary, just events and stuff like that. And yeah, man, DM's open. If you want to talk about some mental health stuff, feel free to hit me up too as well. So with that being said, I'm out the door. Good games. GG's. Thank you so much once again, Ice Effect, for doing the thing. And we'll see you in DNF and Street Fighter 6. Correct?
Yes, sir. GG's.
All right. GG's. All right. So Retro, you have a good one. You guys take care. I'm out. GG's.
All right. Take care.
Take care.